Good morning. My name is Lauren Burney. I'm from Pace University in New York City. I'm coming to speak to you today about the integrating environmental restoration with computer science in New York Harbor with New York City Public School phases 2 and 3. This has been an ongoing project over the last 8 years, which is funded by the National Science Foundation. Perhaps some of you have been to New York City. This is the area in which we do our work, our research, and all of the elements of the project exist. This is Manhattan, New York Harbor, creating pathways in STEM education in New York City. So you can see the beauty. The beauty is still here. We hope that one day you guys will come visit and be able to do so without any alarm. The original project began with 5 pillars. These 5 pillars were teacher trainings, student curriculum design, a digital platform, which was the central technology hub, after-school supporting STEM programs, and 2 community exhibits within New York City at the River Project and the New York Aquarium. Both still stand. The 5 pillars here have had some transgression throughout the time that we've been working on this project from phases 1 through 4. These are the pillars. I won't go into detail given the time limitation here, but you can see that there's been some transition with each of them to make sure that each of the pillars are functioning correctly and properly. There's a dual plan within each of the projects, the iTest project, which is phase 2, and the STEM plus C project, which is phase 3. There's a research and evaluation plan. The research carries out the goals of the project, and the evaluation determines the efficacy of each of the projects to make sure that everything is going smoothly and correctly, effectively, and efficiently. Pillar 1 within iTest deals with the STEM Research Hub, and you can see students here underneath the Brooklyn Bridge conducting research, doing measurements on oysters, water quality, and species within New York Harbor itself. We've seen some growth within some of the species coming back because of the cages in which we put in and some of the critters that then circle around those cages to survive. Pillar 2 has been an ongoing program since its inception 8 years ago, which is the near-peer mentoring program, which allows for students, scientists, researchers, faculty, STEM industry professionals to all work together in supporting students in their goal of entering into the STEM fields. Most of these students are in underrepresented communities and need certain levels of support, resources, and ongoing information so that they can find success within the STEM programs. This is our digital platform. The digital platform, as I mentioned, serves as the central hub which houses all the data, research, and information for the project. It allows for people to upload their data at the various sites within New York Harbor. We have citizen science volunteers also working, so each category is then uploaded into this platform so that data is accessible throughout the world and global community. Pillar 3, restoration science professional development plans for elementary students and teachers. So we focus now on creating opportunities for elementary teachers and students to come into the field of STEM and get a more introductory exposure early on in their careers so that they can see some insight into perhaps things that give them excitement and happiness within getting dirty at the same time. So we found that that's been very, very successful within our work. Lastly, one of the components in Pillar 4 deals with advanced methods and restoration science, and this is more based for high school students and teachers. So we have 4 labs throughout the United States that work on various components of STEM and research stemming from marine biology to DNA coding and various aspects of science. Teachers are allowed to actually work within the labs in the summer pre-COVID, and we're hoping that that will continue as well. To do research, they do research and then they take that information back to their students so that they can then share how to do research within their individualized classrooms. The research plan itself is always being modified to the degree that we need to improve, and that's been informed through the evaluator and the processes within our programs Obviously, with COVID and the pandemic, things had to change. We had to alter to remote and hybrid learning. We also had to revert to doing remote information through surveys, which presents some challenges, but we were able to overcome those and are continuing to get good data. One of the most important pieces of doing research for the National Science Foundation or any funding sources is to make sure that the deliverables and project outcomes are congruent with what you said in the proposal. Some of the broadening participation and intellectual merits that are required by the National Science Foundation include the following for our particular project: curriculum for middle school teachers, a field science manual for teachers to work with in New York Harbor for their students, project white paper, scholarly publication articles, presentations, symposia, colloquia such as this one, videos, and film productions. We encourage our students to also make short films so that they can show what they're doing in the field as well. It makes it more real to many people. The digital platform, which houses big data, which we think is one of the global components of this work, as well as the technological advances that allow for us to do computer science within the classroom. Permanent displays and exhibits at institutions. STEM teacher training model, which is now developed by OPCCERS. STEM mentoring model, which is the near-peer mentoring. The restoration-based community science model, which ignites a community on a particular initiative. And mobile applications in computer science, which allows for students to do work in the summer and learn how to code. One of the unique aspects of this is we have created a model that we hope will be replicable elsewhere in the world, whether it be in Africa, Asia, Europe, etc., so that students can then engage in activities such as these, which are more relevant to a community and their particular issues. One thing that we've done a good job at is allowing for community partnerships through citizen science to come together through the various entities and stakeholders within these grants. We probably have 14 partners on the grants themselves working together: the Billion Oyster Project, New York City Public Schools, Pace University, and many others throughout New York City. This piece is very integral to the success of the project. Pictures here depict the exhibit at the New York Aquarium and the boat in which the students go out into New York Harbor in. They're very stalwart, these kids. They really love what they do, and it makes science very exciting and accessible to them. There's also technical training at the New York Harbor School so that when students leave that school, they have vocational aptitude in various forms of science. This here is a module in which people can learn how to become a boat captain. And on the left, you can see that some of us are there at the New York Aquarium when it was under construction after Superstorm Sandy. Students do get out into the water. This is just off of JFK. There's quite a few citizens throughout New York City that also participate in this project, which is great to have some of the students' parents also participating in the work that we do, as well as just community members in New York City. We hope that one day, perhaps the future landscape would look something like this. This is a design by Scape Architects, in which people can walk out into these various piers and work with the water itself and look at the oysters and community species that exist in the harbor here. Another opportunity would be creating a hub off of Staten Island, which there's currently the breakwaters which are being developed. So we hope that one day too this hub would allow for student interaction with scientists and opportunities for externships and internships and industry professionals to take part in school activities so that there's a corporate buy-in to the community as well. So in summary, you can see these are some of my teachers here. This is probably 5 years ago, working with these teachers in the trainings that we do and bringing everybody together. It's a multi-ethnic community. We're really proud of our teachers and all the work that they do. It's not easy, and we're certainly grateful for their dedication to us, to the program, to the project, and to the students that we serve. Some other challenges which we were able to overcome is creating opportunities for higher up members to be integrated into the work that we do. This was President Clinton, who was very supportive of our initiative, and creating global alliances throughout the world is really kind of something that we continue to focus our work on. In terms of the research model and how we are able to maintain such grants with large magnitude, some of the things we do is we have really tight communication, monthly meetings within pillars, permanent project impacts that are constantly reviewed, weekly meetings with the various PIs. We have a project website. We have the project digital platform that allows for us to do the work that we want to do and upload the information coming from the community. And we work on finding solutions together. So we function off the smart sheets, having a Gantt chart, and allowing that each day, if anyone were to visit us, we could answer any questions where what is everybody doing on that particular day. Accountability, again, is very important. During the summer, we host a STEM Summer Institute, which allows for students to come to New York City. It's open to all students from all over the United States to learn how to code and to be able to create projects, websites, apps, things like this. And then in the same time, they get to visit various entities in STEM throughout New York City, whether it be Google, AT&T, Spectrum, Time Warner, etc., to see if there's any interest that they might have in those particular careers. The career component is very strong within both of the grants. The org chart that you see here depicts the various communities that started the grants. This was through its inception in 2014. We've continued to add various members of New York City's communities. People often ask about the impact of the various grants and what we've done and what we've accomplished. So far, we have our digital platform, as I mentioned, which is the Central Tech Hub. We've touched on 11,000 students so far to date, 250 teachers, 84 watershed field locations, 4 labs. So it continues to grow, it continues to change every single day. We add more and more people to be incorporated into this work that we do. The iTest project outputs for 2021 are listed here. Some of the work that you can see from the STEM hubs, the near-peer mentoring, the various lab modules that we continue to do, and then the teacher trainings. And all of these show the magnitude in which we've reached our community to date. Each year we update this because it continues to grow, whether it's through remote, hybrid, or in-person learning. Similarly, we have the STEM plus C project outputs that allows for us to look at the various pillars in the same way that we look at our iTest, which is data and curriculum science, the teacher trainings through computer science, the STEM Institute in the summer, and then the STEM hubs that exist in the water in New York City. So all of these continue to allow for us to get more and more people integrated into these community projects, while at the same time providing clean water for New York Harbor through New York City public school students. One of the things I always say about this project is to, have some levity, have some fun, and teach kids that science can be fun, learning can be fun, and that no matter what you do, you should make sure to remain professional and diligent while you're out there working in the field. And so I think that providing kids with this opportunity has been very rewarding for all of us. We will hope to continue this work through another 3 years. Some days are more challenging than others, and we certainly have to overcome those challenges. But when you have a great team with a great set of people who work really, really hard, it makes life very easy and certainly adds to the ability for us to continue this work further. Thank you so much for listening to me today. I really appreciate it. Please let me know if you have any questions. My information is here. Wishing you a very, very safe, happy holiday.